I'm here today to talk a little bit about mindset and helping to understand the difference between two mindsets, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about is based on research by Carol Dweck. And this book is amazing. It's on Amazon. You can get it at the library. It's called Mindset. But if you are interested in pushing yourself to have the right mindset, to have a growth mindset, this is a great read. It's got tons of research in it. She's done a lot of research when it comes to children, but also applicable to being, a parent, being, wherever you're working, being a spouse, just in life. Life is much more realistic and kind of frankly better if you have a growth mindset. And the reason for that is if you have a fixed mindset, basically we have a fixed belief system of how life is. So when you have a fixed mindset, you may not even realize that you have a fixed mindset, but the kind of thoughts that run through your head are, wow, that's just too hard. It's too hard. I can't do that. Or that's too challenging. Or, when I'm frustrated with something, I just give up. I tried it. I didn't like it. So I'm not doing it. And what we don't realize, I think sometimes, is that a fixed mindset completely holds us back. And a growth mindset allows us to take a challenge and say, you know what, this is an opportunity to learn and grow. And, I might not be good at this now, but if I put enough effort into it, if I do some research or I keep trying and meet myself where I am and try to push past this, then, I can be better at it. Maybe I won't be expert level, right? I might not be going to the Olympics, but I will be better at it. And one of the coolest things to think about is when you're faced with a challenge, to just say to yourself, okay, not yet, right? In her research, one of the things she did was she was talking about how this one high school, had these requirements for students to pass this test or this series of tests. And when the students didn't pass it, they got a grade of not yet. And the reaction from the people that were taking it, whatever, was like, okay, well, that means it's still attainable, right? Like, just because I failed here or didn't meet the requirement doesn't mean I give up. What if, the next level is just one more right answer and you did all this work to get here and then you just gave up? And just right on the other side of that is absolute breakthrough. So, it's important to really think about how do we move forward with a growth mindset. It's just amazing how our brains, I talked about this on my other talk too, but our brains are just amazing. We can literally grow our brain. We can rewire our brain, and we can speed up the circuits in our brain. The more we expose ourselves to challenges and different things, the more we're going to be able to grow that brain. Another kind of research that they talked about was, these taxi drivers in London, and they, started out and they didn't know the systems, the complicated systems of getting around that town. And the more that they did it, the more they learned about it, the more they figured it out, the more they knew it, kind of like I was talking about in my habits talk about to automaticity. They kind of learn that thing. So you can grow your brain, you can make a choice. And that's really what this comes down to is making a choice. Every challenge that you face, you have a choice. You have a choice to say, too hard, giving up, or you have a choice to say, what can I learn from this? How do I move forward and learn how to grow and be better? Having a growth mindset you can have in so many different situations. It could be about just sometimes we don't realize it. We say oh, I'm not a good cook, right? But you can be a good cook if you decide you're going to be a good cook. You just have to put some effort into it. Again, you may not be Julia Childs, but you can be a good cook. You can follow a recipe, you can try, you can take some classes, you can experiment. Really what it comes down to is fear, and pushing past the fear of not being great or perfect at something. I don't know if you struggle with that, but I definitely do. I love to be good at things, right? But in order to get good at things, you have to try. You have to fail. They talk about failing forward, that you really can't grow if you just always do something and you're great at it from the beginning. You have to kind of push yourself to try things that are a little out of your comfort zone. I encourage you to think about your mindset, and when you're faced with something, change the tape in your head from, oh my gosh, what if I look dumb and I say this, or what if I try it and like everyone laughs at me, or I fall or whatever, instead of like, what can I learn from this? If I try it, what are the things I did okay, and what are the things that I need to work on? So another example from me is, I had this weight loss journey, and I've been trying and doing things, and I love going to the gym, and a box jump on the actual like true box, the wooden box, was really scary. So I, a while ago, had said to myself, it's just not attainable for me, right? And as I've gone on my weight loss journey, I've also changed my mindset on a lot of things, and it's been awesome. And one day recently, I lost about 50 pounds, which helps significantly, right, with my mobility and all that kind of stuff. But I just decided I'm going to go for it. The worst thing that happens, there was 5 or 6 other people in the class plus the teacher. I'm like, the worst thing that happens is I fall, right? I don't do it, but if I don't try, I'll never know, right? And the first time I tried, I didn't get up there, and I was like, okay, well, and then I said, okay, well, what did I do there, and what could I do better to try and get that momentum? After a few tries, I did it. And then I was so excited that I did it. I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. But then I was like, you know what? What if I turn the box this way and I do it a little bit harder? So what I did first was I kept doing that box jump to that level. And then after a little while, I tried the other one, and I was able to do it. So it's just, a lot of times it's just what's in your head and what you've decided for yourself, your belief system of, this isn't for me, I'm not able to do it. So I just encourage you to kind of find that fixed mindset voice and change it actively to a growth mindset. We all have probably a little bit of both inside of us, and it takes just as much effort, really, to say to yourself, okay, I can do this, right? But what a better world in our brain for us to see ourselves as someone who kind of pushes past our fear and tries things, right? You're not going to be great at everything, but with work and research and trying and effort, you can be better at a lot of things, and you can make an active choice to be better. So I just encourage you, next time you're faced with something and you hear that go off, to say, I'm not good enough, or I'm not this, I'm not a math person, I don't really do that, I don't know how to do that, oh, that's too scary, I can't believe you can do that, I could never do that. Change that tape in your head to say, you know what, I could try it. I see myself as this person. Let me see what I can do. Are there small things I can do to get there? And, push past that and have a growth mindset.